release you to go back into the great marketplace. And let's take some new breeds of leaders back, a new breed of leader back to your job and back to your company, back to your government, and back to your community and your family. I want to close this conference on the priority and power of character, which is our theme for this great week that we've had. We try to understand really the value of character in leadership. That was the purpose for this week. Because character has been the lost art of leadership. Leadership studies is my passion. Many of you know that. And I have spoken in universities. I have sat with gurus. I have been on 1,000 TV shows. I've met most of the people that you read about. I've met them. And very few people impress me. Because I keep looking for this missing ingredient, character. I want to recommend these two books to everyone. Poured my life in them to bring us back to character. I call it the leadership pack. Invest in developing yourself. I also want to strongly recommend what I call the leadership meditation book. Every day, every morning before you go to your job or to your business, you should spend some time as a human developing your sensitivity. Meditation is one of the greatest keys to leadership development. Being able to clear your mind and to think before you enter the busyness of life. I took 365 days and I put them in this book. So each day of the year you can read. By the way, if you want to take a Christmas gift to someone, I want to recommend you get a copy of this book. And if you get 2 copies, you get it for $35. If you get 3 copies, every book beyond the 2 is for $18. That's to encourage you to get your Christmas gifts. Now, if you buy a gift like this for someone in your office or for your boss or for your supervisor or maybe for your managers, they can use it every day. It's not the kind of gift you kind of, wear once, because every day they can use it for their own meditation. 2008 is just around the corner. What a great thing to give all of your staff. Matter of fact, go and just buy 10 of them. Just give all your staff and you go back to your office. And give them something that they can and be inspired by what you learn here. This one is 365 days for leaders, and it focuses on vision and developing your purpose and your potential. It's called the Devotional Journal. It's where I designed this so that leaders can study a principle every day, remember a quote, and then take notes of their dreams. There's a place to write on every page. I did this because this is what I do. So this is my secret. I put all my secrets in this one. Leadership Daily Devotional. I want to recommend that to you. How many of you read these books before? Are these good books? Yes. These books have changed more lives than any one of our other books. And they continue to do so. I've sold over 800,000 copies of the one on the left, on the right, and 1 million copies of the one on the left. Please get them both together and tap into your leadership potential. We call it the Potential Pack for leaders. And I want to also recommend this book, Going Back to Your Culture, and impacting your culture with the principles that we are being taught in this conference. This book will teach you how to do it. It is called The Most Important Person on Earth, and I recommend that to you. Now, as we leave this conference to go back to our world, I thought it would be good to talk a little bit about, just to kind of summarize, what I call the 10 characteristics of true leadership. And write fast and write clear so you can understand what you wrote when you get home. Ten characteristics of true leadership. And this helps you with personal leadership development. First of all, write down what I would call, what is your role as a leader? Number one, to have a vision. You've got to have a clear vision if you say you are a leader. Number two, to transfer vision to people. That's your role as a leader. And number 3, to build a team. That's your role as a leader. You got to build a team. And number 4, to empower a team. That means give the team the ability to function. Give them authority. And number 5, the role of a leader is to direct for results. That means refer to your goals to make sure that the activity is moving toward the results that you intend. Because you can be busy and not be effective. And number 6, the role of a leader is to manage priorities. It's important for you as a leader to constantly make sure that the people who you are responsible for in your department or your company itself or in your group are constantly working on items that are important to the accomplishment of the goal. Many people can be busy and not progress. Progress is measured by goals, and goals determine results of success. So the leader's job is to constantly watch the priorities. What are the most important things for us to do? And that's what we do. And finally, the role of a leader is to possess and live by values. And that's why this conference is so important. Because after all of those items in that list, if number 7 is lacking, it can cancel all 6. Values. The leader must live by those values. Very important. 3 components of leadership, therefore, that you must always remember. I live by these every day. Number 1, purpose. A sense of meaning for your life as a person. All leaders live by a sense of meaning. They believe that they are born to do something important for humanity. That's what makes them self-motivating. Number 2, potential. All leaders have a belief in their own capacity. You have to believe that what you were born to do, you are able to do. You do have the skills to accomplish your dreams or the vision in your heart. But number 3 must be in place, and that is principles. Again, we come back to this important issue of character. Principles are values that you value as being important for the accomplishment of your purpose and protecting of your potential. Leadership is impossible without a guiding vision, that's true, and a purpose, of course. And that purpose produces a passion, of course. For us to accomplish those passions and purposes and visions, though, we must have principles that regulate our behavior. Therefore, power, passion, and purpose are never more important than principles. And principles can cancel potential and power and purpose. We've been hearing it all this week. What is leadership? Please write this down. This is your first time this week for me giving you the definition of leadership as we have come to know it here in Atwila. It took me 27 years to write this one sentence. So please write it in 27 seconds. I have read so far 76 books actually on leadership myself, and I still bought 3 more last week to read for next month. And of all those books I've read, I have written down, cut out, pasted, and filed hundreds of definitions of leadership in my office in a file. But I couldn't find one that was clear enough that incorporated all the ingredients that I felt based on my 27 years of research and experience and study of what leadership really is. So here is my definition, and I'm sure it's not complete, but to this date in my life, this is what I have come up with. And you will find this in my latest book called The Spirit of Leadership. I am being quoted now by a number of people. I heard them quoting my quotes in a couple of colleges lately. This definition is now being quoted by other leaders. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through what? Inspiration. Say inspiration. That's important. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation. Most of the people that you call leaders to me are simply professional manipulators. True leaders don't manipulate people. They inspire them. That inspiration comes from a passion. Therefore, the heart of leadership is passion. Because passion produces inspiration in others. And if you cannot inspire a person, you got to manipulate them. The moment you start manipulating, you are no longer a leader, you are a dictator. And whether that's your husband or your wife, or your children, or the people in your office, or your colleagues on the job, once you start using manipulation, you're no longer a leader. Passion comes from a vision that you have. And that vision comes from a conviction you have about life. Your conviction is a source, or it comes from purpose. If you believe you were born to do something, then that becomes your conviction. That conviction then produces a vision of what you see it looking like. That vision then produces a passion for you to pursue it. And once you start pursuing a passion, you inspire other people. And by the way, let me show you how this works. To become a leader, then you got to turn this entire sentence upside down and start from the bottom. So if you want to learn how to become a leader, I'm talking to you. Here's a secret. I'm giving you this. I'll see you in 10 years at the top. It's easy to become a leader. It really is. Here's how you become a leader. Number one, you got to have a purpose. I have 3 books out there to help you with this. One is called In Pursuit of Purpose. The other one is called Maximizing Your Potential. The third book is called The Power of Vision. In these books, I help you discover your... Number 2, you must have a clear conviction about your life. Conviction is important because conviction has to do with a belief that is stronger than opposition. Conviction means you believe that you were brought to this planet to do this specific thing. Conviction. Conviction then produces a vision. Vision is purpose in pictures. Vision is seeing your purpose in technicolor. When you start seeing your dream in pictures, you are now receiving vision. A leader, therefore, always has a painting in their heads. And they can tell you, like Martin Luther King, I have a dream. I see an America where little black boys and little white girls walking hand in hand. And he started describing this stuff. And you're like, you could almost see them. All leaders get that. And if you ain't got yours yet, you're going to be okay. You stick around us, you're going to get your picture. Because without that, you'll always be a follower. You got to have a picture. The vision then produces this key, and that is passion. Passion is right in the middle. Passion is a desire that is stronger than death. Passion is finding something not to live for, but to die for. Passion. What made Nelson Mandela a leader is this list right here I'm giving you. And every true leader, if you put them against this list, you will find that they possess every single one of these components. Mandela suddenly realized he had a sense of purpose for South Africa. That purpose then produced a conviction that took him to jail. He was so believing in that, he was willing to go to jail. His conviction was so strong. That conviction was based on a vision he saw of a new South Africa that didn't exist physically, but he saw it. And that created a passion, and passion will always produce, number 5, inspiration. He inspired an entire generation, not just a nation. When he came out of prison, we were marching in the Bahamas, in the streets. I was like, what's going on? I mean, New York was marching. This guy made the whole world march. And no one knew who he was until he was introduced to the world out of prison. Only a few people knew who he was. But anyone who recognized his passion for what he believed was inspired. When you inspire, you don't need no one to vote for you. That's heavy. When you get passion, You don't need people to approve of you to be a leader. Your passion is like a force that takes everybody with it because they become inspired. And when a person is inspired, they become influenced by you. And if you influence people, they then call you a leader. So let me say this very carefully. True leaders never seek followers. I'm going to say it again. True leaders never seek followers. Followers seek true leaders. And they look for these things on this list. Mahatma Gandhi is in this list. A man 4 feet 2 high, 92 pounds, defeated the entire British Empire. Why? He had this list. He had a conviction about equality and justice and fairness in India. His conviction took him to jail because of his passion. His passion stirred up 800 million people and defeated the British Empire without a bullet being fired on his behalf. The power of leadership. Remember, you cannot lead if you don't influence. And you cannot influence if you don't inspire. And you cannot inspire, come on, say it, if you don't have passion. If you hate Monday mornings, you're not a leader yet. If you don't want to go to work, is what I'm talking about. You have no passion for a job, then you are a hindrance to life. You're not a leader. All right, write this down. A reminder, the foundation of leadership is what? Say it loud. The foundation of leadership is character. Say it loud together. The foundation of leadership is character. Say it again. The foundation of leadership is what? Character. It's not power, it's not skill, it's not education, it's not management abilities, it is character. I want to drive that home as you leave this place. Now, what is character? A reminder. Character is, out loud, character is a commitment to a set of values without compromise. What is character? Character is dedication to a set of standards without wavering. What is character? Character is self-imposed discipline in keeping with moral convictions. What is character? Character is effort to integrate one's words, deeds, actions, and person into a complete whole. That's what character is. And that's what you get right now. Please keep it. How do you develop character? Out loud. By testing your commitment. Second, by testing your loyalty. Third, testing your dedication. Fourth, testing your faithfulness. 5, testing your honesty. 6, character is developed through pressure, demands, temptation, and resolve. All right, we're getting it. I want you to read this statement with me about a desert experience. It's found in the book written by one of the students of Jesus. His name is Matthew. Read, go. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be what? Tempted. Stop right there. Stop. Look at the word spirit there. It's a capital S, which means that God himself took the guy where? In the desert to be what? Tempered. What is temptation? Testing for weakness. I don't care who you are, he says. You could be my son. I'm testing for character. By the way, you remember that there's only 3 tests in life, you know. Oh, you're going to like this. You better write this down fast. If you remember this, I'll see you at the top. There are only 3 life tests. Only 3. 1, write it down, the test of appetites. Number 2, the test for fame. And number 3, the test for power. They are the only 3 tests in life that you got to face. And this young man, 30 years old, in this statement, passed all 3. The first one was what? Appetites. turn this stone into bread. In other words, feed your belly at the expense of compromise. You and I got 3 appetites in our bodies, only 3. 1, water. 2, food. 3, sex. Oops. And all 3 will always be tested. Drink, gluttony, and uncontrolled passion. And if you study any leader that fell, any of them, only 3 they failed in. Got to be one of the 3. Died from overweight because they couldn't control their eating. Heart attack, stress, alcoholism, drugs, drink. 3 couldn't keep their zip up or their pants on. Don't laugh, smile. Study history. He passed the test. Test for power. I'll give you all of this if you compromise, he said. All the glories of the kingdoms of the world. They offer you power if you worship them. No strange tests. They're common. Test for fame. Jump from the building. Land like Superman. You'll be an instant success. It's called overnight success. I do believe in overnight success, except the night is 25 years long. Believe me, I've been through a long night, and it ain't morning yet. I'm an overnight success. My night is 37 years long. If you become an instant success, you become an instant failure. Don't jump from the pinnacle. Take the long walk to Golgotha. He led him to be tested. Write this down. It is more important to be faithful than to be famous. Next, write this down. Character is developed through staying steady through tests and trials. Staying what? Steady. Not avoiding tests and trials. It's developed through staying steady through them. Write this down. Number 3. Leaders fail when they sacrifice their character on the altar of compromise. You will always fail. One of my mentors said this years ago, I'll never forget it. He said, whatever you compromise to gain, you will lose. Whatever you compromise to gain, you will lose. Leaders fail when they sacrifice their character on the altar of compromise. This is why we must protect character. Never lose it. Now, I'm going to give you another little item that you probably never saw before. Read out loud with me, please. This is written by the great leader, Paul, to his little mentee, rather. He was training this young man, Timothy, and he wrote this to him. Read this out loud. Read. The leader, he must also have a good reputation, character with outsiders, so that he will not fall into disgrace and into the devil's trap. Underline the word disgrace. Write that down. Disgrace. Grace means gifting. This means canceled. If you do not have a good character, he says, you can cancel your gifts. It's a powerful statement. You must have a reputation, a good character with outsiders. Dr. Horner said it so well. It's not what people in here think you are. It's what the folks over there going to say about you. Very important. So let's talk about the attitudes of leadership. Write them down quickly. I'm moving fast. Number 1, purpose. Number 2, passion. Number 3, initiative. Say initiative. I'm giving you what I call the unique attitudes of leadership. You'll find this in the book on the spirit of leadership out there. Every one of these is a chapter in the book, so you know how much there is to talk about. Get the books, please. And make the next 6 months your months of education. Number 4, goal-oriented. All leaders have a goal orientation attitude. Number 5, teamwork. Every leader knows that he never achieves anything by himself or herself. She knows that she is a product of a team functioning. Number 6, innovative. True leaders are innovative. Innovation means that you never believe there's only one way to do everything. Number 7, accountability. All true leaders are aware that they are accountable to someone greater. Number 8, disciplined. All true leaders impose on themselves standards that they submit to achieve a greater goal. Number 9, all true leaders are self-cultivating. That means they educate themselves. If you are a true leader, you don't wait for someone to educate you. And that's why you may think we're trying to sell books and stuff. We're not. We're trying to prod you to become a self-cultivator. I personally spend over $300 US every month on books and CDs. I do. Why? That's why I am called on all over the world to counsel people. Because I keep reading, feeding myself more information. You think I'm smart? No, I just got a good memory, that's all. My son Paul here from Zimbabwe told you all, and you all were laughing about this. But you see, he read my books, memorized them, and now they think that's his information. And guess what? It is. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything I learned, I got from somebody else. Imagine what you got out there in that hall. You got some of the best minds in those books. Every book I write is about 20 years of preparation. Imagine buying 20 years for $20. That's a deal you should not refuse. But you'd rather buy a box of chicken for $20 than buy a book. And here's the amazing part of the whole problem. When you buy the chicken, it lasts for 6 hours. But if you buy the book for $20, it lasts how long? You take it into eternity. It doesn't leave you. That's a better investment. What you say? And the apostle, the great King Solomon said this in his book, Proverbs chapter 4. He says, in all you're getting, get understanding. And if it costs you all you have, he says, get understanding. That means if all you got right now is your last $30, he said you could buy a box of chicken or buy some CDs. He said, go for the CDs, he says. It's a better deal. Number 10, positive attitude. All true leaders got a positive attitude. Do you know why? They're not afraid to fail. Their confidence is so strong that they can handle failure. Failure is, to them, an opportunity to try again. Number 11, all true leaders have this element of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. As a matter of fact, courage cannot exist unless fear is present. If you are afraid, that's the only way to have courage. That's why every true leader is always afraid. I wish I could explain that to you. I am the most frightened man in the world, but you would never know. I'm having fun. Why? A true leader is always afraid because they are always attempting things they can't pay for. And they announce things they don't know how to do. Talk to me, mama. I heard her stand on the stage in South Africa talking to other people, saying, we're going to roll out the program. I'm sitting there going, she didn't even know what the program is. And that's what leaders do. You're laughing. Let me tell you about this guy. This is the greatest story about courage that I've ever seen. Moses is standing on this piece of property. He looks in the front and he saw water. He turned in the back and he saw hundreds of soldiers on horses and chariots, thousands of footmen coming with daggers and swords and spears, and they're coming to kill them. Behind him, he has about 500,000 people. He sees water, he sees army, and he sees death. The people started to lose heart. They became depressed. Well, the story says, he says, then Moses went up on a rock and stood up among the people. I'm quoting that. It says, and he said to them, peace. Peace, y'all. Peace. I say, cool it. Watch him now. He says, I make y'all a promise. Don't worry. When I read this, I laughed when I read this. He says, I promise you before the sun sets today, not one of them will be alive. And we shall go across. The next verse. And Moses ran aside behind a bush and said, Lord, did you hear what I told them? Woo, I love it. Man, when I read that, I took courage after that. Tell your neighbor, I'm behind a rock right now. Lord, you heard what I just said to them? So next time they're going, we're going to have a new house. Then you run in the closet. Lord, you hear what I just told the kids? Fail. This company shall prosper. We're going to come out of the black, out of the red. And then you run in the bathroom, close the door. Lord, I just told the staff we're going to be okay. Help! You know, the amazing thing about the story is this. The next verse says, and the Lord said unto Moses, watch this, it's crazy. Why comest thou to me? Hey, clap your hand, man, that's good stuff. That's what you come to me for. He says, go out there and do exactly what you told them. I told you, all leaders are afraid. They don't know what they're doing. But they are not afraid to fail. That's why they're not afraid to succeed. Courage. Next, humility. Humility from the word humus. It means dirt, earthy. To be humble means to be down to earth. It means to be yourself. That's why leaders are never proud. If you have to try to be humble, you are proud. I'm going to say it again. If you have to try to be humble, you are proud. Because humble means to be yourself. Which means if you are not humble, you're somebody else. You're faking it all the way. You are pretending. You are tending to yourself, your inconsistencies. Humility is to be yourself. And number 13, all leaders are responsible people. They take responsibility. And number 14, they have a sense of humor. Everybody say laugh a little bit. Let me tell you something. Some people are just, they too serious about life. Stop taking life too seriously, man. Half of the folks around you don't like you, the rest ain't sure of you. So don't take them too seriously. Let me say it again because you all missed that. Half of the folks around you don't like you, and the rest ain't sure of you. So don't take none of them seriously. Learn to laugh. When you make a mistake, laugh at yourself first before we do. All leaders are very, very humorous people. They know when to be serious, but they don't take life too seriously. They don't get heart attack over things that can attack their hearts. If you fail, get up, dust off, laugh, and keep moving. As a matter of fact, I normally laugh first before anyone else laughs, so they can never laugh at me. They laugh with me. Clap. Take your elbow, hit somebody, say, lighten up. There are some people who are so spiritual, they look ugly. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Oh, shut up and smile. Laughter is what? Good medicine. They say it takes 70 muscles to frown and 7 to smile. Rest your face. Come on, just smile. Isn't that easy? Laughter is good medicine. So here are the 10 characteristics I want to leave with you. Humor. Go back to work and have a good time. And let me tell you something. I'm serious about this. Don't take your job too seriously. Because the minute you die, they can replace you that evening. Clap again. Just clap. Just get it out. Don't take it too seriously. Let me tell you why some folks love their job so much. They get their value from the job. And that's why when they lose their job, they lose their lives. You should never get your value in life from the things you do on a job, because you'll be afraid to get fired. You don't get value from a job, you bring value to a job. So when you go to work on Monday morning, I want you to walk into your job in a certain way. Here's how to walk into your job. You walk into your job with your chest out, head high, and you say, "Good morning, everybody. Enjoy me while you can. This is temporary employment." And then go to your boss and say, "You are fortunate to have someone as talented, dignified, cute, handsome, good-looking, experienced, and spiritually dynamic as I. So enjoy me while you can, and even if you don't give me a raise, I'll still work at maximum potential. But if you want to give me a raise, I sure won't receive. I won't refuse it." You need to lighten up a little bit, man. I've seen people die on Monday, and Monday night, they got a replacement. And you thought you was that important. Anger. This is a characteristic of true leadership. If you are a true leader, you must be angry all the time. But it's a different kind of anger. It's the anger against injustice, unfairness, evil, corruption. If you're not angry, you will never change anything. Anger is required to bring change in the world. Jesus Christ became so angry, he tore up the temple. Write this down. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. I repeat, whatever you can tolerate, you will never change. Leaders are angry people. They're not angry at people. They are angry at injustice, unfairness, abuse, oppression, manipulation of people, corruption, using people. They become angry. Martin Luther King Jr. was an angry man. He hated racism. Nelson Mandela was an angry man. He hated superiority versus inferiority. Mother Teresa was angry. Matter of fact, in one of her books, she said she was a teacher going to work every day. And she used to work in this little school in Bombay, and she had to walk across dead people and sore people and sick people on the ground before they could go to school. And she cried all the way to school. She cried all the way to school. Her anger brought tears every day because she couldn't handle what she saw. By the way, write this down. Your anger is an indicator of what you were born to do. People ask me all the time, how do I know what my purpose is? Just check your anger. What do you want to change in the world? What do you keep complaining about? Your complaint is your assignment. Write that down quick. Whatever you keep complaining about, you're supposed to fix it. That's why I keep telling people, you were born to solve a problem. And every time you see the problem, it upsets you. Whatever you were born to solve will upset you every time you see it. I remember Moses dressed in fine royal clothes, riding in a golden chariot with a big white stallion. The guy had it made. But when he saw what he was born to fix, he lost his head. Anger hit him. He picked up a piece of wood and killed the Egyptian. Why? Because when you see what you were born to fix, it makes you angry. That's why you hate your job. Because it doesn't make you angry. Something else makes you angry. If you are angry at corrupt politicians, you were supposed to go into politics, that's all, and become the solution. What makes you angry? Write this down. Number 3, patience. All leaders have the spirit of patience. Number 4, friendship. You cannot lead if you keep making people mad at you. Leaders are friendly people. They attract people. People like to be with them. If people don't like you, you can't lead them. So stop being so crazy and snobbish and high-minded and snuffed up. Settle down and open up and smile with people. Get to know people. Why? To be a good leader, you got to be friendly. And by the way, if you make people mad and try to lead them, they will undermine you 24 hours a day. They'll sabotage every plan you come up with. Got to be friendly. Number 5, tact and diplomacy. True leaders have this wonderful characteristics of tact. They are able to say the most difficult things in a way that you like hearing it, even though it hurts you while they're saying it. They're very tactful. They're very diplomatic. They know how to bring bad news in a good way. They know how to discipline you, and you enjoy the pain. Tact. You know, one of the best books I've ever read in my life, I'm giving you a hint now, is a book by Dale Carnegie. It's called How to Make Friends and Influence People. Very important book. In that book, he said something I'll never forget. I read this book in 1973. He said, when you want to correct someone, sit them down and tell them 7 good things first about them. And then you tell them what's wrong. Build them up first. Let them know that they are doing some things right. Why? You got to keep the friendship. You got to be able to be tactful, diplomatic. Number 6, inspirational power. All leaders have this strange way to walk into a room and change the room. Matter of fact, when you're around them, all of a sudden you start feeling good and don't know why. Sometimes people walk in the room and everybody gets depressed. You ever know those people? You say, oh boy, here she comes again. Oh my God, here she comes again. See, that's not a leader. That's a tyrant. That's Hitler in a dress. You know, anyhow. Everybody say inspirational power. Say it, inspirational power. Say it loud. Say it again, inspirational power. Clench your fists. Say inspirational power. Say it again, inspirational power. Now tell your neighbor, inspirational power. Hit him. Yeah, man, you got to move some people. All right. You got to inspire people if you're going to lead them. Number 7, executive power. That word is important. Write the word execute down by itself. It's from the word execute. It's from the word actually executioner. Executive is executive. It came from, it's going to be strange, but that word came from the concept of the guy who used to cut people's heads off. Here's where it came from. The history of being an executive, they use this term to describe a person who gets things done. See, in the 16th century, capital punishment in Europe was by decapitation. And they used to hire a guy with a hatchet or a sword. They put a hood over his head so no one could know who he was. They bring the prisoner and put his head on the block. And this guy's job was to swing once. I think you would want him to swing once if you were the one being killed. Y'all are slow. Look at you. Don't you get it? I don't want nobody bouncing off my neck. The job of an executioner is to swing once. How many times? So they call him an executioner because it means getting it done with one swing. So an executioner was hired based on how many necks he decapitated once. Now, you say you're an executive. That means the board don't want you to come back with 5 excuses why it ain't done. You are fired. If you've been given an assignment, don't you ever come back with an excuse. You're no longer an executive. You come back with an excuse. You come back when it's finished. Bring a report, not a complaint. Write that down, please. This is probably the greatest irritation of leaders. Leaders become irritated when the people they delegated power to come back with an excuse. Go and swing once and come back with a result. Otherwise, you are not an executive. No, have you noticed when a football or a basketball team loses, they don't fire the players? They fire the coach. Why? Man, you come back with too many complaints. Come back with a ring. Executives. Everybody say done. Done. Say it again. Done. The sign of a true leader is the word done. It's done. Always come back with one word. What is it? Done. Don't bring an excuse. I think the folks in our organization probably know me by now. Don't come to me. I don't want to hear it. No excuses. Why? If you are a leader, you solve the problems. Either come to me with a solution or a result. Done. God never says he will say, well tried. Well what? Say it loud. Well what? Tell your neighbor, done it. Hit him. Say, done it. All right, we can be done people from now on. Get it done. Don't come back to the superior with all kind of explanations. You are a department head, you are a supervisor, you are a manager, come back with done. Be an executive. I love the words of Jesus Christ on the cross, his last words. It is done. He reported to the board. That's leadership. Number 8, listening. Leaders love to listen to people. You know why? Because leaders know that they ain't the smartest person in the group. A smart leader learns from smart people so that they look good. Leaders listen to smart people. A good leader who is dumb hires smart people. Ronald Reagan was asked one time. They said, Ronald Reagan, Mr. Reagan, what's the secret to your leadership and your success as an American president? He says, well, I'm not the smartest man in the world, so I hire all the smart people. Guess what? That means he's smarter than them. He's smart enough to know he don't know everything. That's smart. Listen to people. Listening is hard work. Number 9, communication. Communication means that all leaders have this ability to articulate their ideas and put them in your head. And you got to learn that skill. And everybody in this room can learn it. As a matter of fact, next year I might be doing a 2-day course again on communication. Teach me how to do effective public speaking. Because if you don't know how to communicate your ideas, you will always be at the bottom. Communication skills. Leaders are always identified as people who can literally not just talk, communicate. They can transfer their ideas. And number 10, consistent. Leaders are consistent. That's the character piece. Write this down. Qualities of leadership: discipline, vision, wisdom, decision, courage, humility, integrity, passion, teachableness, and personal development. I know this is seeming like a repetition, and it's intentional. You are a leader, but you got to cultivate these qualities. Write them down, put them in the mirror where you fix your face every morning. And take one every day and go and say, I'm going to work on this one today. Discipline. I'm working this one today. I'm going to clarify my vision, articulate it, write it down on paper. I'm going to refine it. Wisdom. Wisdom means I'm going to use knowledge effectively. You have gained a lot of information here today and yesterday and day before. That's great. Now you got to move to wisdom. Wisdom is application. Knowledge is information. Understanding is comprehension. Wisdom is application. That's why wisdom is the ultimate thing. It is the supreme thing. Because knowing and not applying is just like not knowing. So it doesn't work until you apply it. Wisdom. Decision making. Leaders are not afraid to make decisions, even if it is not the best decision. They will make it. A true leader will listen to advice, and when it's all over, they make a decision and take responsibility for their decision. You got to make decisions. Nothing can frustrate a company and a department faster than a guy who keeps procrastinating on decision making. If a woman keeps on postponing responsibility, she can frustrate that department. Hey, boy, say decision making. Make decisions. It's okay to make a decision that doesn't work, you know. Just make another one. I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life, and will do a few more in the future, but I'm never afraid to make them. Do you know something? Poverty is directly related to the amount of decisions you didn't make. I'm going to say it again. Poverty is directly related to the amount of decisions you didn't make. I'm not smart. I'm just not afraid to make decisions, that's all. And I don't need all the information before I make a decision. Some of us say, can you get all? Maybe you can get all. Sometimes you got to take a risk. I would rather be known as the guy who tried and failed than the guy who never tried and never knew he couldn't succeed. Let me try and fail. Make a decision. Very important. Teachableness. Please remain teachable. All right, let's close with this as we go into our commissioning. This, to me, is the most important aspect of leadership. Now, those of you who are in senior leadership are going to appreciate this, so please write this down. I was complaining one time, frustrated with life. And I was almost depressed years ago because I couldn't figure out, why am I working so hard teaching people and they're not changing? And I was trying to figure out, what was the difference between me and other people? Why do people think I'm a leader? And I discovered, out of all my research, this is the word right here, initiative. A true leader is simply a leader because she takes initiative. He takes initiative. Followers wait for instructions. Leaders create the instructions. Followers wait till it's safe. Leaders ain't care if it ain't safe. It's good English. They're not afraid to be initiative, to take initiative. Nothing frustrates me more than people waiting for me for the next instruction. You got two eyes, man. I want you to remember this point. This is an important point. That's why I put it here. You know, I got about 1,800 sessions on leadership that I could teach right now. 1,800 of them, all different. But this one is key. Initiative. Nothing can destroy a company faster than people who have no initiative. Initiative is the key to pleasing leadership. If you want to please your boss, take initiative. Matter of fact, come to your boss all the time and says, here's what I did, I hope you don't mind. Or here's what I saw wrong and I tried to resolve it and here's my solution to it. Take initiative. Write this down. You are paid according to the problem you solve. You are paid in life according to the problem you solve. Take initiative and solve problems. Initiative is the manifestation of the spirit of confidence. When you have faith, you're not afraid to act. Leaders, I told you, and some of you laughed earlier, leaders are leaders because they sure what they're doing. That's why they're leaders. Now, they are confident that they could do it. They're not sure what they're doing. They step out. They believe. The other word for initiative is entrepreneur. We need people who got the entrepreneurial spirit. They are willing to say, look, if I lose the house, it's okay. I'm going to put it on second finance. I'm going to build this business. Take initiative. This organization and all the 5 companies that we have are my initiatives. And not a one of them began with money. They began with declarations. You remember that? Go back home and announce all your dreams to everybody. Make it public. And when they ask you how, tell them, don't know, but I'm going there. We're going to do this. I believe in this. And then start taking steps. Why? Because critics ain't doing nothing anyhow. So go ahead and do what you think. Well, do what's in your heart. Do it. Take initiative. Write this down. Very important. Initiative is the spirit of creativity. We need leaders in departments, managers, supervisors who can look at a problem and say, look, the policy book was written but didn't have this kind of environment. So let me take initiative to create my own policy. Sometimes you got to break the policy to progress in the company. And it takes initiative to do that. Do you know where I learned initiative from? I learned it from God himself. Can I tell you where I learned it? In one statement. A beautiful statement. It says, in the beginning, God created. See, he didn't wait for no one to tell him. He just began in the beginning and started doing stuff. Then he says, imitate me as their children. So you go back in that village, look at it, and say, okay, let me just start something. Don't wait for no government to make no decision, no policy, send out no grant. I'm going to start something. Let the government catch me up. You saw the governments in here this week. I mean, you know, the cabinet in here all week. They come here. They're catching me up. Me and the Prime Minister was chatting. We was on our way to Atlanta, sitting together on the aircraft. And the Prime Minister says, everywhere I go, I need to decide whether you are the Prime Minister or I'm the Prime Minister. I got a little nervous. I said, what do you mean, sir? He said, you know, Myles, we got to talk about this. I said, yes, sir. What's the problem? He said, every country I go into, everywhere I go, when I walk in the room and they say, this is the Bahamas Prime Minister, next question, do you know Myles Munroe? Clap, man, that's a good place to clap. He said, they know me before, they know me before they know him. That's initiative. I ain't waiting to become no ambassador. Become my own ambassador. Go and do something. Start something. Everybody say start something. Say it loud. You got to start something. Stop waiting for something to happen. In the beginning, you got to begin some things. He created, got to create some things. Do you know that those who have initiative always hire those who don't? Let me say it again. Those who have initiative always employ those who don't. They're called entrepreneurs. I want you to leave this place as an initiator. If something is not right in your department, fix it yourself. Come up with proposals. Design some strategies. Come up with some solutions, and then go talk to your super superiors and say, look, this is the situation, and I have some recommendations. Initiate. I guarantee you, if you keep initiating, two things will happen. You'll get promoted and you'll get more pay. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Whenever you want to promote someone, you always look for those who take initiative first. That's what you look for. I'm talking to you as a boss. It's a very important point. True leaders are very grounded. This last key. Initiative is the key to obedience. Become people of initiative spirit. True leaders initiate because they believe in the integrity of God. They believe that God won't fail them. They're not afraid because they know they're covered. Number two, true leaders initiate because they believe in their cause. They believe in what they're doing. Number three, true leaders initiate because they believe in the rightness of their dream. The rightness of it. This is right. Number four, true leaders initiate because they believe in their competence. They believe that they are able to do this thing. What a spirit. And number five, true leaders initiate because they are not afraid to fail. Here's something that I figured out years ago. If you try and fail and you owe a lot of money, don't worry about it. When you die, they can't get the money. I met Donald Trump once. You know, we keep missing each other in different places where we speak. But we met once, New York City. And I got a chance to speak to Donald. And when you are with people who are wiser than you, always ask questions. Don't talk a lot. Let me say it again. When you are with people of wisdom, don't talk a lot. Ask questions. I started asking questions. One of my questions to him was, what is the secret of you being transformed from a real estate agent to a multi-billionaire? He said, risk. That's all he said, risk. He says, people thought I had money. He says, when I started, I used to just tell him I want to buy a building and had no money. I took the initiative, the risk. So I said, but how did you do that? He says, because I figured it out. When you die, they can't get it. Some of y'all strange. Look at this. Sometime you got to go out on a limb to get the biggest fruit. Do something that makes you have faith. Take initiative. We're getting ready to break ground for another shopping mall we're getting ready to build. We got everything found, the architectural drawings are finished, all the schematics, everything is finished. And people think I got money. I got drawings. Write this down. Provisions follow vision. The person who's supposed to finance your vision can't find you. And when they do find you, you ain't got nothing to show them. Remember this, please, remember this. The provisions for your dream is not for you. It's for the dream. That's very important. Every vision on earth has provision. So the money and the support is not coming to you. It's coming to the vision you carry. So if the vision is not prepared when the provisions show up, the provisions pass you by because it doesn't come to you. It comes to what you're carrying. That's why the scriptures preach very carefully. It says, write the vision down. Make it plain on paper. Because someone's coming to pay for it. Saul Kirshner came to the Bahamas from South Africa. You know, there's an island over there, used to be called Hog Island, H-O-G, Hog Island. All my life, it was Hog Island. I grew up, and I used to go down to the beach as a little boy, look over at Hog Island. Hog Island was a garbage dump. That's where we dumped the garbage. And over there were wild hogs and wild dogs. It was the garbage dump. They call it what? Hog Island. That's all I grew up with it. One day, a guy came to the Bahamas to visit. His name was Merv Griffin. Had a television show. He came to our island. Now remember, we live here all our lives with Hog Island. We called it what? Hog Island. It's amazing how we saw it. We saw it as a place where hogs live. We saw it, watch my lips, we saw it as a dump and hog-infested place. We what? Saw it. He came, he saw hotels on it. So he asked the government, can I buy this dump? And the government sold it to him. He built the first hotel over there and called, and he changed the name, Paradise Island. Come on, let's talk now, let's talk about it again. Now, when you go across the bridge, remember, you are entering Hog Island. Merv Griffin sold the thing to Saul Kirshner. Saul Kirshner turned it into Atlantis. Atlantis is Hog Island. And it's been here with us all along. Let me tell you something. Let me quote something to you. I read this in the Bible and it changed my life. Powerful statement by the king, the richest king that ever lived. He says, the rich and poor have one thing in common. God made them both. Now, when I read that, I got mad the first time because I was the poor one. Okay, now, but the next verse says, the rich and poor has one thing in common. God gave sight to both. That was it. When I did my research in the Hebrew, it actually states this. God makes people. Some become rich or poor, depending on how they see. You can see Hog Island, or you can see Paradise Island. You know, we keep talking about South Africa because y'all are our family. Every time I come to South Africa and I walk in a township, I see skyscrapers. I see beautiful pools of water with fountains. I see little children running around with grassy fields. I see roads. I see lights. I don't see what you see. That's why leadership is birthed from vision. Today, the most expensive room in the Caribbean, read my lips, the most expensive hotel room in the entire Caribbean is on Hog Island. We're going to take you there tomorrow so you can see it, Mom. There's a room there for $25,000 per night. And guess what? It's booked. First one to stay in it is Michael Jackson. Second one, Michael Jordan. Third one was Oprah. And it's booked up forever. On Hog Island. Everybody clap, man. That's depressing. Because Saul Kirshner is a leader. He took initiative. You ever heard this? Build it and they will come? That's true. That's true. And they don't come, sell it to them. Very important. Tell your neighbor, wake up and open your eyes. Vision. So I want you to go back to your job and walk into your department and say, this used to be Hog Island. Clap now, quick. This ain't Hog Island no more. This is what? Paradise. Why? Because you are coming back to work with creativity and initiative and character. Change the place. Very important. Here's a list to remember. Say these words. Just say the words with me. Ready? Go. Positive attitude. Say it loud. Positive attitude. Next. High energy. No, you got to say your feeling. High energy. Come on, now you got to do this with me now. Ready? Third one. Go. Personal warmth. Fourth, integrity. Fifth, responsibility. Sixth, good self-image. Seventh, eight, follow. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22, 22, 22. I can hear 22. One more time. Shout it louder. Say it loud. You are. You are. You are. You sound like lions. Go ahead and give yourself a big shout. That's leadership. That's leadership. And so as we leave you, remember that site. That used to be Hog Island. On behalf of the Third World Association and the Board of Trustees, on behalf of all of our staff and all of our hard-working crew, technical, hospitality, drivers, registration workers, resource managers, hotel management, every bus driver, and everyone that has served you, on behalf of all of us, thank you for coming to the place where God lives. You get that right? And thank you for making us a success this week. We couldn't do this without you. But our greatest joy will be what you do after you leave. It is our hope that you'll be back. For step 2. Trapped in everyone in this room is a hidden leader that no one has seen yet. No matter what you've done, you're not finished yet. Never be impressed by your accomplishments because they can hold you back from greater ones. Remember, the greatest enemy of progress is your last success. So rejoice for 2 days and get over it and start on another one. Because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. We want to encourage you to continue to pray for one another. And if you don't believe in prayer, we'll still pray for you.